Welcome back, everybody. My name's APredator54, aka Adam, coach of the McChesney Park Slowpokes, and today I bring you my draft recap slash analysis for BBR Scramble. Uh, I believe there's 64 coaches total. We were split into drafts of 8, I believe. It might be more than 64, to be honest. 32 times 4. Yeah, there's over 100 coaches, I believe. We're in pools of 4. But anyways, regardless of how many coaches there are, we drafted in pools of 8. We had 90 points to draft exactly 8 Pokemon, and I ended up being first overall in Magby. So, nice little boob fest to draft pool. So, the way this works is we are allowed one Terra captain. We can declare it any time during the draft or after. And it is open Terra, but is preview, so we have to tell our opponents what our Terra is. I ended up being first pick overall in my group, and I ended up going with Chi-Yu. This is also my Terra captain. Being able to remove this thing's weaknesses and turn it into an explosive offense is incredibly good. Its ability to lower opponent's SPDF is amazing. Access to Flame Charge, Will-O-Wisp, Nasty Plot, Memento. Gets access to Ruination to have my opponent's HP, what it's currently at, which is very good if I want to wall break and then swap out. I can't remember if this thing gets momentum, maybe baton pass, but I'd have to double check. I use this a lot, but I can never remember if it has anything. Other than that, you can just overheat eject button, eject pack out for momentum if you absolutely had to. This being able to do Snarl, Psychic, get access to Hex if your opponent's already status crippled, it does double damage. Incredibly good overall. Being able to Terra Fairy and resist a lot of the priority moves and body press is amazing, especially in front of fighting types that want to click Mach Punch and Vacuum Wave is incredibly good. Terra Water to resist water and be able to punch through ground types is amazing. Same with Terra Grass, which is incredibly good. I can now resist Grassy Glide, quite a few other moves, and then punch them back without having to worry about immediately dying. And it'll make sense why this is a Terra captain once we get into my second pick overall. But Chi-Yu, I want to do it justice. I want to see if this thing with Terra is an absolute nuke, so we will see how this goes. Second pick, I drafted Rillaboom. Sure, Glassy Glide was nerfed to base 55, but it still is a hard-hitting priority move. Slap a choice band on this. Life Orb, basically recover the damage back from Life Orb from your own grassy terrain afterwards. Being able to do Grassy Seed Acrobatics with SD and just hammer my opponent. If I outpace them, I can do a massive chunk to them. Being able to run Fake Out to break sashes is amazing. Access to U-Turn. Believe access to high horsepower again is incredibly good. This even gets access to Knock Off, Drain Punch, gets access... I can't remember if it gets a rock type move. I'd have to double check that as well. Sorry if I'm not more prepared. I am like sleep deprived right now when recording this, so I cannot honestly recall if this even gets Rock Slide or Rock Tom. But if not, it's fine. Overall, it's very offensive, hits super hard, relatively fast, and bulkier than people think it is. Plus, you can run the Leech Seed subset with the Protect and just never die. But especially with the Grassy Seed. Overall, this is just a way to punch through a team, pivot out, and provide support to everything else that wants Turnly healing. I don't believe I get the Grassy Terrain healing if I am under the effect of Psychic Noise, but that is something we'll find out in Trial Run. All in all, Rillaboom was well worth the 13 points and round 2 overall, and I can't wait to use it. I have not used this since Gen 8, and back when I had that, it was Dynamax. It was G-Max Rillaboom. So, we'll see how this goes. And you can't complete the core without having its gay friend. Well, joke going around not to like piss people off, but literally when people see Rillaboom and Sneasler, they're literally the gay couple that can't go anywhere without each other, and that joke's relatively funny. Hopefully I did not offend anybody, but this thing having access to Burden gets access to Dire Claw, which does not break Sleep Claws. Granted, this forces my opponent to run Covert Cloaks to not get Dire Claw effect if they double up. If I get Sleep, Sleep, Sleep. Oh well. This even gets access to Poison Touch. It's very, very good. With Grassy Terrain and Grassy Seed, I double my speed instantly, gain defense, allowing me to Swords Dance and have a heavily boosted Acrobatics, Dire Claw, Close Combat combination. This even gets access to Rock Slide and Fire Punch for steel, what would I need Fire Punch for? Oh, bug types. If they're bug and steel like Scizor and Fortress, I hit them. I hate ads, by the way. Sorry if you hear that in the background. But Sneasler overall, base 120 speed, is phenomenal. Incredibly high attack. Granted, it's not the bulkiest thing in the world, but the fact that it gets access to Fake Out as well, breaking sashes, gets access to Acrobatics, Close Combat, Dire Claw, all of that fun stuff, and I believe access to T-Spikes. All in all, very good. And U-Turn and Poison Touch people on the way out. It's incredibly good. I can't remember if Gunk Shot, Poison Jab stack with Poison Touch. I can't remember if it works like Toxic Chain where it doubles the chances, but we'll find out eventually. Sneasler was 16 points, and I look forward to using this top 3 core so far. Hop on to the next Mon. Alright, I sound like a goddamn broken record here because I've had this thing enough this gen. Welcome back, Araquanid. Yeah, let's have a Mon that just doesn't give a fuck what you hit it with unless it's a rock and a flying type move. Even some electric type moves can't one-shot this thing because it's just so damn bulky. Special attackers don't want to deal with Mirror Coat. Grass types don't want to deal with Leech Life. And a lot of things do not switch into Water Bubble boosted Liquidations and Surfs. So you can actually run both and catch your opponent off guard if they max defense themselves and you hit them with a water type move and it shreds them. Hey, I'm not invested. You're just taking the same amount, just a bigger hit than the liquidation would be. It cannot be burned, gets access to sticky webs, and gets access to, like, what is it? Entrainment. I can steal abilities, which is pretty damn good. Say I encounter a water absorb Mon, I can do entrainment and I can give them water bubble, allowing me to smack them in the face. Which is funny to see a Quagsire just get water absorb taken away and just take 50% from liquidation is hilarious. This is a excellent fighting resist, a ground resist, a neutral to grass. All in all, incredibly bulky, well worth it, and a Spadef tank, which my team absolutely needs. And yeah, that's spider number 1. Yeah, that's a little bit of a teaser, but for 9 points, well worth it. For round 5, I ended up getting Metagross, and it's kind of weird that a cosmic type theme popped up right as Metagross got its turn. That's hilarious. Metagross, very, very fat defensive-wise. Steel and Psychic is incredibly good typing. This gets access to Bullet Punch, gets access to, I believe it's Agility, doubling my speed. If I run bulky enough, I can run Weakness Policy. Now I have double speed, double attacks, and I'm just hammering away. This gained access to Knockoff, Psychic Fangs, and Heavy Slam, which is absolutely disgusting. You do not have to rely on Meteor Mash to miss because you have Heavy Slam now. Absolutely amazing. Well worth the 12 points. And I believe this gets access to rocks as well. Plethora of moves. Gets access to Earthquake, Stone Edge, Ice Punch for mons like Garchomp. Thunder Punch as well for bulky waters. All in all, incredibly good. But just having the fast just having the hard-hitting Bullet Punch is absolutely amazing to pick things off. I look forward to seeing what Metagross can do. I believe this is the first time I've actually used this in draft. I don't believe I got it at all in previous gens. So, this is going to be trial and error. But I look forward to it. We're going to hop on into the next mon. Yeah, I know it's 8-man pools, and I had the opportunity to get Mimikyu right here and then, and you have a Ghost and a Fairy type. But I decided not to because a lot of people drafted Glamora, Sam H, Cleavor, the auto set hazards. Well, I got Talonflame. I wanted to be able to win speed control with Gale Wings, be able to Acrobatics or Hurricane and Rain, being able to pick off things relatively easily, revenge things. The only issue is Psychic Terrain's up, Gale Wings turns off, so I will fail if I do any attacks. But this also gives me a good fighting resist. This gives me a Flame Body switch in to burn people, allowing Hex Chi-Yu to pop off. All in all, I'll take it. Priority Defog, Priority Tailwind late game to have Araquanid outpace things is incredibly good. Metagross doesn't need to worry about outpacing things. Tailwind, let this thing die. Yeah. This even gets access to Sword Stance. This gets access to Flamethrower, Hurricane, Air Slash, Brave Bird. Dual Wing Beat, Acrobatics, which with no item with Gale Wings hits really hard, especially if you're adamant. You don't have to worry about speed at all. You can just hammer things, though that's a good way to revenge. But mainly, this is here for hazard control and picking things off. Granted, it's not overly frail. I am incredibly weak to rocks right now, but we'll take it. We'll learn in stride, and we'll see how this goes. And then next, I took Cyclizar. Shedtail's banned, but this has access to Shift Gear. Recently gained Supercell Slam, so now it can hit bulky water types and flying types without having to worry about ice. I believe it's Ice Spinner or Power Whip. So, all in all, very, very good. This gets access to Overheat for mons like Earthworm. Gets access to a strong Double Edge. Being able to regen the damage off by swapping out is amazing. This gets access to Rapid Spin, U-Turn, Knockoff. Gets access to Aqua Tail for fire types. And this is another mon I'm not sure if I get a rock type move. But all in all, Supercell Slam allows me to kill mons like Moltres. Granted, it could miss, but what ground type realistically wants to switch immediately into a Cyclizar that gets water and ice coverage as well as Power Whip? So, we're going to see how that goes. Majority of the time, I am not going to Shift Gear. I'll just probably pop in, smack things. This thing is incredibly good as a Assault Vest user as well. So, Sponge Hit, swap out, U-turn, get the health back, rinse, wash, repeat. Very good. This adds another fighting weakness. But all in all, I resist it heavily with Sneasler, Araquanid, neutral with Metagross, and I resist with Talonflame. So I'll take it. And last but not least, because I chose to do not do Mimikyu than this, I decided, you know what, since Talonflame was the 9 points and Mimikyu was 8, I decided let's end the draft off in a fun way. We got Piloswine. Thick, Fat, and Oblivious is absolutely broken with Eviolite sometimes in the right hands. This gained access to Curse, has access to Icicle Spear, Ice Shard, Stealth Rocks, gets access to Trailblaze with his base 50 speed. If you're max speed, you outpace base 90 Mons with a Trailblaze. If I remember correctly, yeah, it should be base 90 to 95, which is still pretty good because you can boost your speed and smack things incredibly hard. This gets access to Freeze Dry for bulky waters. Rock Blast gets access, I can't remember if, no, Mamoswine gets knockoff. I don't think this does. But being able to apply pressure to my opponent, especially with Ice Shard to pick things off, is incredibly good. I don't like how this is small, so now we're a little bigger. This thing is bulky. Being able to sponge an ice or a fire type move going into this with Thick Fat, especially if I'm max BDF, max HP, and threaten the fire type out, it's incredibly good, especially for Rillaboom. The Eternally Healing with Grassy Terrain is overall good for my entire team, especially Piloswine allows me to get a little recovery back and have bulk. Granted, it makes the grass type moves hit me harder, which is something I have to worry about. But all in all, I heavily resist grass. And yeah, Piloswine's the GOAT here for a reason. But yeah, that concludes my draft. Tell me what you think of the team down below. Like and subscribe if you haven't, and enjoy. And a little bit of a teaser. I'm going to see how this team does against Brother Yuppie this season, Amo, as well as Talon Master J. So if they upload their draft analysis or their content, feel free to check them out. But anyways, you guys enjoy. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.